At the point between 2003 and Saturday Night Wrist here coming on 2007, was there ever that moment where you guys didn't think the Deftones were going to continue?
For about 8 months.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Music Hour. Today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite bands, Deftones. Formed in 1988 in Sacramento, California, Deftones have successfully put out 9 albums, with their first album, Adrenaline, debuting in 1995. Upon discovering their love and interest for music, then high schoolers Chino Moreno, Stephen Carpenter, and Abe Cunningham got together and started having jam sessions. All 3 members met at McClatchy High School, where they attended. Stephen's introduction to guitar begins as tragic and oddly enough as it can. When he was 15 years old, he was hit by a car skateboarding and used a wheelchair for months. So it was at this point where he had decided to teach himself guitar, and he began to play along with bands such as Anthrax, Stormtroopers of Death, and Metallica. Chino is a skateboarder as well, and that was another hobby that brought Stephen and Chino close together. In a lot of the Deftones videos, you'll see a lot of skateboarding references, and you can also find a lot of videos of just Chino skateboarding. It was another outlet that he had on top of music, and it was something that he frequently spoke about in several of his interviews, just his love for skateboarding and his love with music. Thankfully he didn't have to go through what Stephen went through early on as far as being hit by a car, but it really goes to show you from Stephen's side how tragedy and just how he took that negative situation and was in a negative time in his life, and he was able to take that and turn it around by teaching himself guitar. And well, obviously it ended up well for them because they are the band that we know today. So although Chino, Stephen, and Abe were doing a lot of jam sessions, they weren't actually an official band until a couple years later. In the early days when Abe was drumming with Deftones, well, early Deftones that is, before they became an established band, he was also drumming with another band by the name of Fallacy, and they were set to put out a debut album, but before that album was released, Abe officially left that band and became a full-time member of Deftones. And at that point they did get a bassist. The bassist's name was Dominic Garcia, who did some bass work with them for a bit, but they actually went through a couple of bassists in their early lineup until they came across Chi Chang, and then Chi Chang became the official bassist of Deftones. Deftones' first album, Adrenaline, debuted on October 3rd, 1995, and it was released by Maverick Records. The album wasn't initially successful, but Deftones definitely did a good job in just promoting themselves. They did a ton of extensive touring, and just little by little, word through mouth, they started gaining more popularity. Many music critics considered their first album heavy and categorized their music as nu metal and compared them to bands like Korn. Nu metal was a term that Chino, I think, to this day despises. He always hated that people considered his music nu metal. He just wanted people to view the music of Deftones as itself, just something that can't be described, something that can't be categorized, but rather an experience. Their second album, Around the Fur, was released on October 28, 1997. This album did much better than their first one. The songs My Own Summer and Be Quiet and Drive were both released as singles, and this was their first album to go gold and platinum. The photograph eventually used for the album cover around the fur is of Lisa Hughes and was taken by Rick Cossack. So Rick Cossack, he's really known for his cinematography work in Jackass and just other, skateboarding mini videos and clips in general. He did work for King of the Road, so obviously if you're a skateboarder, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he was recently featured on the Nine Club. The Nine Club is a skateboarding podcast, and he was on there just talking about his work over the years. And according to, the crew members of that day, according to sources, they say that Lisa wasn't too happy about her photos being taken that day. She had indicated that the photographers were really close to her, and it just felt like they were over her, on top of her boobs. And later on, when Lisa was interviewed, she went on to say that that didn't happen, and that she was just really grateful and appreciative to be featured on that cover. So if you do have any more information as far as the photograph that was used for that album cover and just any information on Lisa Hughes, let me know down in the comments. White Pony is Deftones' third album and was released June 20 of the year 2000. Many have speculated the band's decision to name their album White Pony, as the term has been used in many 80s songs to reference drugs, especially cocaine. But Chino has commented that White Pony can mean many things. It's not just one single thing. So not a ton of clarification, but many still feel that it was used to reference drugs. Horse is also used at the ending scene of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. The white horse, according to the subconscious psychosis of dreams, is described as a link to instinct, purity, and the drive of the physical body to release powerful and emotional forces, like rage, with ensuing chaos and destruction. White Pony also marks the official induction of band member Frank Delgado. Delgado had appeared as a guest numerous times before with Deftones, including on their first two albums, but became an official member with White Pony. He contributed the keyboard, turntables, and synthesizer. White Pony's Change in the House of Flies peaked to number 3 on the Billboard for alternative songs and has remained their most commercially successful song. It was also featured in the movie Queen of the Dam, starring Aaliyah. With the release of White Pony, Deftones' rise to fame skyrocketed, and there was a bit of pressure to put out another good album. On May 20, 2003, Deftones released a self-titled album that unfortunately got mixed reviews. This album did not perform as well as White Pony, but Deftones had already developed a strong fan base that supported their music, so it's not like this derailed their career or anything like that. And I don't know, I like their self-titled album. Needles and Pins was one of the first songs that introduced me to Deftones, along with Change. I heard both of those songs around the same time, so let me know what you think. Halloween Day 2006, Saturday Night Wrist was finally released, an album that almost didn't even make it.
I went and did a side project, whatever. So like a lot of people were skeptical that we weren't gonna make another record, whatever. And it was just for me, I think we needed a break after being a year and a half into the record. I was kind of just kind of overwhelmed with everything, and I kind of think I needed to step away from it a little bit and then reevaluate it and come back to it. And I think it was healthy for me really to do that.
A lot of bands don't make it through that, so that's good. I'm glad you guys did.
For the production of Saturday Night Wrist, Deftones began working with a new producer by the name of Bob Ezrin. Bob Ezrin, he was known for his work with bands like Pink Floyd and Alice Cooper, and so Deftones decided to go with him to work on Saturday Night Wrist. Unfortunately though, working with Ezrin did prove rather difficult, especially for Chino. There just wasn't a lot of alignment as far as where they saw the album going, and with what Chino wanted and what Ezrin wanted.
Let's go into the new album. You guys started out with Bob Ezrin, and then you ended up with Sean Lopez. What's the story about changing producers?
Well, we kind of, we did the majority of the record with Bob. I mean, all the music was pretty much recorded with him. I just think our time was up pretty much with him. We'd already been working, I think, for like 4 or 5 months with him already, and he had other projects he had to do, and I wasn't anywhere close to being finished with my vocals for it. And I'd recorded some stuff with him that I thought was kind of mediocre. I knew there was something better to come, and Sean Lopez is somebody who we've known for years.
The band also talks about tensions just amongst themselves, along with Chino's departure for his project Team Sleep.
So we got a lot of bands that are young, just starting out, coming on, who can hope to achieve that point where things get so tough it might not happen. What keeps a band going?
Drugs.
Drugs, fair enough.
No, I mean, I think our friendship, honestly,
man,
I mean,
right.
I've known these guys for most of my life, you know what I mean? And, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of this going on, but, I mean, I think when we make music together and, you know, when we play, especially when we're playing it live, whatever, it's a payoff, it's the best ever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, I mean, I can't see not doing that, you know what I mean, really.
And enjoy yourself and enjoy who you do it with, man. You know?
I mean, really, the whole thing was we weren't communicating.
Right.
You know, because when we communicate, we all realize how much we care about each other and about the band. Except for Stefan, who was...
Like I said, drugs.
Or?
Because the drugs make this a little easier.
Yes, and he's talking about a specific drug, folks, not one that'll make you go crazy and crash.
Tylenol.
After overcoming the tensions of Saturday Night Wrist, what happens next changes Deftones forever. Bassist and long-term friend Chi Chang was involved in a car accident that left him in a comatose state for years. Unfortunately, he eventually died in 2013 of cardiac arrest. A bassist by the name of Sergio Vega stepped in as a result of Chi Chang's unfortunate departure. And on May 4, 2010, Diamond Eyes was released. Diamond Eyes ended up being very successful and reached to the top 10 of the US Billboard 200. Many music critics compared Diamond Eyes to White Pony because of its high sales and commercial success. There were 4 singles from the album: the first track, Diamond Eyes, Sex Tape, You've Seen the Butcher, and Rocket Skates. After Diamond Eyes, Deftones released another very successful album, Koi no Yokan, released November 12, 2012. Koi no Yokan is said to mean the premonition of love, even though Chino says there really is no direct translation for the phrase.
Record Koi no Yokan. Now, right out of the gate when that name started going around, people said that was about love at first sight, but that doesn't seem to be quite.
It is. It's a little bit more intricate form of it. It's actually before. Well, this is what I read. That it's actually love at first sight would be you see somebody and you fall in love with them. This is the premonition of love, I guess you'd say. You see somebody, something, or whatever it may be, and you have a feeling that, and there will be in the future you will be in love with this thing or this person or whatever. So it's a little bit more. Nuanced, I guess, whatever. But it's cool. I think the coolest thing about it is that there's not an actual English translation for it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the cool part about it, I think.
Like Diamond Eyes, this album peaked to the top of the US Billboard 200, and songs like Swerve City, Romantic Dreams, and Rosemary all gained favorable popularity. Deftones' two most recent albums are Gore and Ohms. Gore was released April 8, 2016, and is much more experimental. This album also proved very successful, reaching number 2 on the US Billboard 200. Gore also features Alice in Chains' Jerry Cantrell on the song Phantom Bride. Like Saturday Night Wrist, there were creative tensions in producing this album, with Stefan expressing that he had a lot of difficulty getting into it. And in the early phases of working on Gore, Chino was also working on another side project, Crosses. Deftones' most recent album, Ohms, was released September 25 of 2020. So far, I've only listened to Ohms once, and it definitely reminds me of their self-titled album, Deftones. So let me know if you've had an opportunity to listen to Ohms, what you think about it. And other than that, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.